and welcome to this special edition of Upfront with Trey Real and your boy, Feesey Boy. Today, we feel like there's some stuff that really needs to be discussed and talked about. So, I want to welcome some guests that we have here in the studio with us. And to my immediate right, we have Juice. Welcome to Upfront.
What's up?
You guys have seen Brahim before. Welcome, Brahim. And from behind the scenes to in front of the scenes, here's Eli.
What's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
Peace.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy F-double-E.
I miss you.
You did not miss me because you don't call me no more.
Stop it.
Remember how I told y'all Trey called me every day? Ever since we stopped filming, I only see him in the club. And y'all know I don't even go to clubs. So that shows you how much time I see him.
That is not true. That is not true.
You hit the envelope on my big seat for how long?
That was a long time.
Because I don't see you.
No, because I was busy. You guys stopped doing
You're never too busy for your
That
friends.
sounds awfully personal.
You're right. You know.
Right,
okay.
I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I love you.
I love you back.
Okay, and I'll do better.
Yeah.
So, we've been gone for quite some time on a little hiatus, and our hiatus is still going on. But so much has happened in the world that we needed to get here and get it to you. So, what's the big thing that's going on? The fucking Kardashians. Congratulations.
I can't stand it.
Kourtney Kardashian and what's his name?
Travis
Barker are now engaged. What do you think about the engagement, right?
I could care less, but I mean, if I'm gonna focus on anything, it'll be Kim, not Kourtney. They can get married in the desert for all I care.
Crazy that Scott Disick was there the whole time and he did not get that ability to do that with her. That's a shame.
But is it really a shame though?
No.
Because sometimes people just in your life for a season, and sometimes it's
He was there for at least 10 seasons.
Okay, well,
keeping up with the Kardashians.
Well, I mean, listen.
They got like 3 kids, right?
Yeah,
but he never had it together.
Yeah,
so it's like, why would she marry him? He never had it together.
But
I love it.
Travis
I love
Barker
that she
has
stayed
it
away
together?
from the black men too.
Stay away
from my people. She stayed in her lane.
Right.
And
in
she
LA.
stayed true to She's actually my favorite out of all of them. I feel like
She's
always been
the realest.
Why?
She's the realest.
She's the realest. She's not
like that episode where Kim was crying about her earring. She was like, Kim, there are people dying in the world, and you are crying about an earring that's insured.
Yeah, like
that's insured. That's so true.
You can afford 13 pairs of that 4 times over.
She had a man diving in the water for an earring.
That's like, girl, that's gone.
I do think that it was a very Scott is somewhere punching the air, of course, but as he should be. He, like you said, he never got his shit together. It wasn't like he didn't want to marry her. We all knew that. He proposed her several times. She always turned him down. Yeah. She always said no. It was on her own accord. And it's crazy that she's with Travis and they haven't been together for a year. And this is where they're at.
You don't think it's spite? He's got a younger, blonde, pretty girl, and now all of a sudden she wants to rush and get married.
Yeah, they probably. He was with Lisa Rinna.
He was with Lisa Rinna's
daughter. They broke up.
Apparently,
yeah.
but
he's got like 3 since then, so who's to say?
Yeah, I don't
know they all blend together.
I don't think
apparently
so.
they've been together for like a month, but their kids are like best friends. They all go to the same school in a little cul-de-sac over there. So, I mean, who's to say that they didn't date each other or didn't build that relationship with each other?
Not
Why would you
this
think they're
PTA
best
love
friends?
story.
Well, the kids because his baby mother was taking some jabs.
Right.
On
But
social
the kids ain't got nothing to do with that. I watched it on TikTok. The kids love each other.
They've always
That's primary source.
They've always ran their family like intermingle and stuff. I don't even think Scott would be mad at her being engaged.
Right.
Because they've always said that they're family at the end of the day. Because they have kids. No, I don't think he wants to be with her anymore.
He's mad. He went through a whole meltdown. You haven't seen they've been talking about it. He's having a whole meltdown.
Well, he should have got it together.
Your time is coming.
Just make sure you're here to pick up the kids because me and my fiance
exactly
got things to do.
And you know the Kardashians have a little stunt.
I would just say this. I will move on with this. I will say one thing. If they came out with a tape, I would definitely watch.
Ew.
Because the way they are together, they can't keep their hands up together, I think it's kind of hot. But when we talk about melting away and breaking it down, what about Easy on Me? So your girl Adele has returned.
And I've got
That's called a revenge body.
And that song is all that. I play that song all day long. I feel like a white woman.
Let me tell you. it's a tall glass of wine, like one of the big heavy ones.
Right.
It just
goblet.
Right, it's like a goblet, and I just need a red lipstick print right on the top of it. Like that's how I feel when
So the first time you heard it,
Instantly.
did it get you instantly?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, the music video too being a part of the drop, like watching that with it, that was great.
The way she's dropping singles and not dropping an album is like amazing to me. Like,
Oh, she got one single.
she only got one single, but she got, if you go to like Apple Music, it show you how many tracks is on the album.
Because her album is coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that's some bullshit to just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give y'all this.
But what I thought was amazing about it too was
ahead.
like it was only out for 5 hours and it charted like number 67 or something. But like still the fact that it was on the Billboard charts with 5 hours of air with play, crazy.
But the video was nothing, but I couldn't stop watching it.
Yeah, but it sounds like one of her other songs, honestly.
You think so?
Yes, it sounds.
I
like,
agree.
It sounds like
Her voices.
It sounds like Change Your Pavement. It's like, okay, Adele, we get it. You can write songs, you can make hits. But it's like, it's boring. I want to see you get up and dance. Show your new body.
I
want to see that. I want to see it.
Keep that in the seat.
That shit bump.
I just think her tone is very unmatched. So no matter what she sings, it's going to always sound like an Adele song.
Right.
Like, you know, like you can say, like, I don't know, like Michelle on all her parts on Destiny Fulfilled. You can always distinct her voice, no matter whose part she sings. It sounds like Michelle.
But I think I get what Elsie's saying. The melodies sound familiar to me. It's from a different song that she sang. But she can sing the same song over and over again with different words on the same track, and I would listen.
And it's still
because it
like
just sounds good.
So let me ask y'all,
good.
would y'all be here for an Adele and Beyonce duet?
No, not at all. You
don't think that's interesting? Because a lot of people, I happened to catch her live. You might see her live. It was the first time she ever went live on Instagram.
Okay.
And that was a big question that a lot of people were asking her. Is she gonna work with Beyonce? We all know that she's like a major Beehive, member of the Beehive. Mm-hmm. So that was a big question that people were asking her. One of the things that was funny, they asked her what was her album about, and she said, "Divorce, honey, divorce."
They say the best albums come from heartbreak or come from real life stuff. So I mean, I would like to see her and Beyonce maybe co-produce something like a track. Like maybe she can write for Beyonce or whatever the word.
She's never done a duet before, has she?
No.
But you know, Adele can't sing other people's songs. She got on the Grammys and fucked up and had to redo the song because she was sounding horrible.
But her, like y'all said, her melody is her melody.
It's her melody.
So maybe that's why.
And we're just so used to it. I think she could have put out bullshit and everybody would have still liked it because it sounded like the past.
She can hum on the track.
I still think
she can hum on the Beyonce, like hum in the back. Like
I would think that's a possibility because like they're on the same label now. They're both on Columbia. Like Adele left the independent label. Now that's why she's getting this whole big push, and we're seeing her like on a. Adele's never had like an album layout like this before. We're not seeing like the 30 on a. We never saw that with 25,
the way
19.
They did
like,
that was crazy.
What they do?
She's not getting on live
they put 30
before.
over on before she even announced. They put like major city billboards 30, like kind of like the Drake and Kanye did with their albums,
but all over the world.
Even her
like
sneak
Adele's
peek
that
teasers
big.
on Instagram, I never saw that for any of her other albums. They just
this
the album dropped.
This is her first time.
Yeah,
like I was
she's getting
scrolling and I was like, oh,
she is a superstar.
Sometimes the worst brings
This is your first time going live.
But go to the videos. The videos are repetitive. She did the same thing with Turning Tables. She was Rolling in the Deep. She was in the house in probably the same damn chair.
It might have been in the same house.
Chase and Pavement. She had the leaves blowing. Like it's just repetitive to me.
One of the things that's always a running thing in her videos too is she never gets the damn cellular service. Even when it was all the way down to a flip phone, she always
That's a London thing. That's a London thing.
Yeah, got no towers out there.
And one of the things I heard live, somebody said, I said somebody from the hood, somebody from the hood had to answer this shit. They talking about, she said she reading the question. She said, what's my body count?
Yeah.
What is that? What is that? So somebody asked her what was her body count. And she didn't know what it was. I
Do you believe that? Do you believe she didn't know that?
No.
I do.
She dates a black man now.
I mean,
exactly.
She knows what a body count.
But I think he was in a background.
And he's very steeped in his blackness too. So,
but it's just so many white women with black men nowadays, especially like celebrity white women. I'm like, bro, what the? Like, is it a shortage of white men over there? Like,
I mean, they're
at the top.
But like, also think about it. What do you think about Adele, the sex symbol now? Like now that she's like, everyone's sexualizing her way more than she was before. She's on 2 covers of Vogue at the same time. Like,
She killed that Vogue.
And we're talking about her differently as a society than we have before.
Right.
I think she's alluring now. I wouldn't find her sexy. Like when I think sexy, like if I'm about to do some things, I'm
think
not
about white women.
But
I think about white women.
I think she's a good poster child for the divorced mom. The mom, the out of shape woman. She's a good poster child for the everyday woman.
But we don't know she's out of shape. She keeps her long jacket on.
Well, yeah.
I don't.
You didn't see her in that dress.
We don't know we honestly don't know if she's sexy until she shows us that part of her.
Well,
we don't know. I'm trying to also shake my ass to
I also like the lane she's in.
Okay.
She had body when she had that Jamaican thing out with the band 2 knots.
You look too long because I really saw that and I was like, yikes, he looks like a troll doll.
She got body.
That was her head.
I didn't say she looked
really
good. I said her head is really big because
she loves
her neck is so small.
Yeah, so it her head. The body was in the head.
It was just a lot happening in a lot of different areas.
Well, speaking of a sex symbol and body and her being a poster person, well, let's talk about Lizzo. And what do you think about the backlash that Lizzo is receiving about her outfit choice for Cardi B's birthday party?
She deserves it. I posted on my Instagram.
Tell how you really feel.
I posted on my Instagram and I got about 1,000 and something likes, and I just feel like she's promoting
obesity,
being unhealthy. You don't know. You want big girls don't want to. Please don't look like that, y'all. She looks like a fish that just got put out of water.
Right, I don't think she's unhealthy. Just because you're big doesn't mean you're unhealthy.
Big doesn't always equal
yes,
unhealthy.
It does. Yes, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It could be a thyroid issue. It could be a thyroid issue.
Okay.
It could be a medical condition. Like, there's a lot of things that you could that factors in weight. Now, I do understand what you're saying.
Yes.
Now, with her on live eating tacos with syrup on it, like, come on.
Did she do that, or was that Saweetie?
I'm not sure if it was like her or Sweetie, but one of them.
But
you know, along those lines, I get what you're saying. Like, some of the things she put out there is a little bit unflattering.
But I like what he says.
But that's a good
Saweetie ate a whole Big Mac with a burger, and nobody said nothing. Everybody thought so. I can't wait to get one, but because she's bigger and she did it, then all of a sudden it's like you're about.
Well, yes, you really real high risk of obesity and high blood pressure.
But Lizzo came out here. She came out here to be a musician. She's not trying to be a poster child for nothing except the fact that she's happy people are listening to her.
But you can't say that. But you have the argument with that would be then she needs to stop jumping on live crying about what people are saying about her.
Because all she's trying to do is live her life, and then someone's like, "Oh, girl, you look crazy."
But even if you live your life, I think the problem with her, my problem is not her size. My problem is the execution. That dress that she had on was the same. That purple dress was the same kind of dress that Rihanna had on. But Rihanna, the way she did it, it looked amazing. The way she did it looked like
it looked cheap.
Sloppy.
And it wasn't even that it was sloppy. It just looked cheap. Like, girl, first of all, I could see good Rihanna had like diamonds on it, and like the diamonds was blacked out, so you can't really see much. Lizzo, you didn't do any.
That ponytail was ragged.
I always say, like, let's just use traditional big girls like Monique. Even when she was a big girl, she was always covered. When she wasn't, even when she was trying to be sexy, it was a respectful to my body kind of situation. Like Queen Latifah, bigger woman. Always presented herself as a bigger woman and
Lizzo,
a woman of class. Lizzo, you are
the only one.
And I never try to bash nobody, but girl, you trash. Like, girl,
I feel like she also has to occupy so many spaces at the same time. Like, she's a pop star who is black, who is a big woman, who is like plays the flute professionally.
But we can see that.
But we all know that. But it's like she has
showing us.
To your defense, I don't blame her. I blame her fucking team. Whoever is behind her, y'all push it. Her hair always looks a mess. Her outfits always look a mess. Her makeup always looks a mess. I've never seen Lizzo, other than the Savage Fenty runway show, look appropriate.
I
look together.
I think she has more input than what we give her.
I think she has a lot of input into what she's doing. Like,
she want to be a gimmick.
I think that a big part of it is she's doing it to push the envelope to keep herself relevant.
Right.
And then when she gets all the backlash, she's not expecting it, or she can't take it. She can't take it. So I blame her team for not taking her goddamn ass off of social media. If you know you're gonna push her and make her push the envelope, then shield her for some of this stuff.
I think
it's giving sloppy joe.
I'm a Lizzo stan. Like, I love Lizzo music. And so I think what she's doing is, I see that she's pushing the envelope, but she's going to the extreme to prove a point. but you can't be a martyr. And then when you get the backlash, be a victim. It can't work both ways. So you're gonna put yourself out there, do the extreme. It's like a Lil Nas X. He does the extreme, but he doesn't cry about what people say about him. If you're gonna do the extreme, you have to be ready for the fight.
Yeah, of course. And like Lil Nas, he's always ready.
He's always ready. Because he's realizing what he's doing by going the extreme. I'm gonna get extreme reactions.
And then I wonder who's this girl's friends. Like, who is your circle? Like Trey calls me out on my bullshit. Like, I'm gonna call you out on your bullshit. Like, I'm not gonna have you outside in the streets looking like a sloppy Joe with two ends of the burnt.
Yes, man. It's yes, man. Yes, man.
And like, you can't have in that thing. You cannot have yes man, bro. You gotta have somebody like this.
You know, this is completely off. But just speaking of Lil Nas X being ready, you know, always on the ready, on the go. What did y'all think about his post on Instagram with him, like, lately, like, showing his dick print and stuff like that?
Why not? All the other gays do it.
I'm tired of seeing it from them, too. I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing y'all prints. It's thirsty to me. It's classless. It's too much. Like, one, okay, I
but guys,
I don't say it's classless. It's classless when it becomes repetitive for me. So one, okay, you was feeling sexy that day, maybe you like your drawers, okay. But when every other picture is you like naked or your print, it's like, is that your only only thing you can?
I play devil's theater though?
But we're saying that about Lizzo too.
But not only that, but what's the difference between?
She's always half naked.
But no, I think what's the difference between a guy Lil Nas X showing his print versus Cardi B always showing her titties? Why do I always gotta see her cleavage?
I'm tired of that too. I'm tired of everybody.
But sex sells. Sex sells. People, sex sells.
Oh, wait a minute.
Go ahead.
I gotta push back on that sex sells with Lil Nas X because he has been selling sex. Look at this album cover. Look at all that he was doing. This little skip.
And I see your titties 30,000 times. You gotta get me more.
He doing all of this, right? But it wasn't selling for him. So now I posed the question to me. Now he's doing a little more toppy. He doing more toppy stuff. Because when he was doing bottomy stuff,
yes,
and he was going more like the bottomy stuff, pushing that power bottom and all of this stuff, and
he did get pushed up against the wall in the music video.
It started moving to the side.
That's just like Russian. That don't mean he a bottom.
Well, I don't think
he said he's a power bottom. He only said that.
No, I don't think
he said that.
I don't think
I missed that one.
I think it's a joke. I think it's all a joke.
I don't see that.
I think somebody's behind him.
I think he might. I think he might be bisexual. I don't think he's full.
I don't think he's fully gay. He's doing too much.
I don't think he's full.
So now
you don't know a gay person who does too much?
He's he's not even doing. It don't even seem authentic. Somebody's pulling strings.
That's what that was the question.
You're not. No, that's not him. You don't see no gay man walking down the street with a fucking belly or pregnant fake belly, prosthetic belly.
Same thing that you're saying about Lizzo.
Now we all might have stuff the towel underneath there and played that game. But to go that far and get a belly,
it's not believable.
I think it's all stunts. I don't take it away from him being. I think he is gay. But I think it's stunts and show because his music is nice. Like, this album was good.
It was very good.
But I was very nervous about what his music was gonna sound like because he ain't like. When I think of musician, I don't think of him.
Okay. Oh, no.
And so you have to have gimmicks these days in order to keep you on people's tongue so that when you do release your stuff, everybody's looking to see what you're talking about, what you're doing. Yeah. That's what all that was leading up to. He released it, people wanted to listen just to see if he was going to be as extreme as what he was doing on social media.
And just to go off of that, it's just like he came out with this album. He has like, 2 number 1s off of it now?
Yeah.
No one really saw that coming. And we don't have a gay black person who is occupying the space that he's occupying. So like when we see him doing like this,
not an openly
risque.
Yeah. I'm sure it's one.
Absolutely.
I'm sure it's one out there.
You know family, but it's still like
absolutely a space.
Yeah, exactly. So he is filling a void.
Exactly. We needed this.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I don't mind.
I love it.
We do have one.
I mean, at least he got something to show.
I'm a sex symbol. I don't know about that.
Okay, talk your shit.
We're talking about gimmicks. So we go gimmicks across the board. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. So this is the first time in the reunion history that they're gonna have 4 episodes. And Erica tweeted, 4 episodes. It's because of me.
And she's right.
She's right. And she's right. And she should say.
So are we caught up with the Beverly Hills Housewives? Where are we at? How are we feeling about this?
I just want to see the looks.
I love
reunion.
Erica. I want them to leave her alone. I love Erica. I love her. I love a bitch that can show up knowing that the fire's gonna be on her and stand her fucking ground. And that's what she's been doing. She's been standing her ground. Every question they ask her.
She been tied up. She been tied. Andy got it together. She been tied up, baby. She been lying. She ain't think those questions gonna come like that. She's speaking too fast. She's speaking. She get caught up. And she get caught up. She got a back.
That's the only thing I would say. Yeah, she do show up, but she don't show up correct.
She wasn't. Erica Jane shows up sometimes. She's ready to just go off at the mouth, but she's like, wait, hold up. Girl, you gotta keep it together.
Like,
you are in
she
courts.
don't show up like Lisa Vanderpump. Like, you can't trip Lisa up. Because her, it's always this. I said what I said.
Right. But also Lisa wouldn't. Lisa was in that situation.
I'm the richest one here.
Lisa would have showed up.
I have two shows.
Lisa wouldn't have showed up if she was in that situation.
So let me ask. Let me ask each of y'all this, okay? Eli, how do you feel about the situation between Erica and her husband? Do you feel that she knew what was going on? Do you think she was guilty? That she's just as guilty as he is? And I want each one of you to answer it.
The way she's talking about it and saying that she gave her money to her husband, and it just seems like she blindly just accepted whatever back. I don't think she knew the extent to which, like, what he was doing to people and people's families.
Okay.
I don't think she knew everything. Now, do I think she knows a little bit of something? It's to be seen.
I've seen the documentary. She knew. Girl, you weren't a celebrity. Where was the money coming from? He wasn't working. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in your mind, you literally said in the documentary, I didn't know. I just know he was giving me checks. Mm-hmm. If my man is leaving out every day, and I know he ain't going to 9 to 5, nigga, you out here hustling. Okay. I ain't asking no questions because I'm reaping the benefits from it.
What do you think, Brian?
Did I think she know? I don't think she had no clue. My man's outside giving me money. Where you got it from? Oh, okay, thank you. That's it. I don't think she know nothing.
What you think, Juice?
No. I think, okay, all white men steal. All powerful white men steal. They've all steal. They all do a little scamming on the side or in between.
You said it, not me. I'm still looking for it.
I said it.
Just in case your daddy's watching.
If I had a sugar daddy, he'd be black. So all white powerful men do a little bit of scamming. I think she might have known that he was a lawyer and stuff. She knew that there was like maybe a little bit of dirt going on, but I don't think she knew that he was stealing as much as he was stealing as fast. And I think right before the shit started to hit the fan, somebody, if it wasn't him, it was somebody tipped her off and was like, girl,
get out.
Get out. Because the way she left so abruptly gave very much like, you need to leave now. So you can separate yourself from what's about to happen.
Right.
Yeah,
I feel like she knew. But I also feel like it was a big approach, like Brahim said.
Right.
My man, first of all, I didn't have it when I came to you.
Right.
And you giving it to me, and you regularly giving me checks and whatever. I know you got money. I'm not asking you no questions.
I'm just happy to be here.
In the back of my mind, I may be like, damn, this is a lot of money. Like when he got them $20 million into her account.
That's what I'm
Hold on,
talking
wait
about.
a minute, bitch. I'm gonna shut my ass up. I'm gonna shut my fat ass the fuck up. But girl, in the back of my mind, I'm gonna call my girlfriend like, bitch. This nigga just put 20
Right, yeah, I don't know where it came from.
Bitch, I really hit this jackpot. Girl, where it came from?
That's all you want. Bitch, wish I can't remember. But
I'm like, girl,
that was the only problem where I don't feel like you don't have to know everything.
I'm donating. Just call me
You don't have to know everything to have a nest egg. That was my problem with her, was that she was so like, well, I was giving everything to him. Even if I was getting checks, I'm about to go to my friend that knows how to like doctor up the checks, and the check I give you is not going to be the whole check I got from Bravo. Exactly. I'm going to have a little bit that's be going over here. You won't think I'm giving you everything. She
but
didn't
you know
set
what?
herself up.
As we move on from the white girl to the black girl, we have to understand that this does happen with black people too, because even though it was a fictional movie, but do we remember Angela Bassett and Waiting to Exhale?
She didn't know
I
anything.
thought if I gave him everything he needed, he'd give me everything I needed. And so, speaking of black girls and moving right along, what do y'all think about the shakeup to the cast of the Real Housewives of Atlanta? While we're talking about the Housewives,
they needed it, but also this is
they got their work cut out. We're gonna start out with Juice. Juice, what do you think about Cynthia and Portia exiting? And have you heard any rumors of who's coming on, or what do you think?
At this point, they are doing open casting calls because there's nobody who can. One, Portia was becoming became to me the head person when Nene left.
Okay.
And so she left, and then you had Cynthia, who everybody was I feel like a lot of people were on the fence about Cynthia, but they watched to see like even though Cynthia is kind of boring, they still watch to see what's going on, like what she's gonna do.
Who did?
No.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just don't think I don't even want to watch it at this point because I don't know who they can get that's gonna replace them.
So
that we're really interested in.
So rumor has it that your fave, Raheem,
Sheree is coming back.
So how do you feel about the shakeup? How do you feel it's gonna?
I don't want to see nothing bad about her. But
with Sheree coming back, if Sheree comes back, how do you think the chemistry is gonna work with the girls who remain? Drew, Marlo, Candy.
Well, I believe that the only way the show will do better is if they bring somebody from the past back. Don't bring nobody new with these girls. They all familiar with each other. Bring somebody like Deshaun Snow back. Bring Claudia back. Somebody with a good mouth or something like that. Yeah, like bring somebody. You can't just throw in a new girl with these girls. They're going to eat her up. Then you got Kenya on there.
Vultures.
Yeah. But Sheree's there, so I'm happy.
That's good. What do you, Eli? What do you think
Spring,
about
fall, winter?
Stop.
The joggers are out.
What do you think about the rumor that Marlo will finally be a peach holder after all of these years?
What is she about to tell us that we already haven't speculated for the past 10 seasons? I feel like with her, like
It's
I just feel like I know, but I feel like at this point, good for you, girl. You needed to be in the fucking intro at this point. You've given us so much.
She's been there for 10 years.
Who do you think would bring back people if they
need the original cast? I actually need to get rid of all the bitches that bring the original cast back. It needs to be Sheree, Deshaun, Nene, Kim. Bring the original bitches back. Bring pay homage to where it's going. Because like no matter how rich Candy is, girl, I'm tired of seeing you. But
it's not giving up.
All of their storylines are old. It's very, very old. So like Raheem said, you gotta bring back old bitches. You can't.
Bring back Phaedra.
I've seen Phaedra.
Nobody knew you want to bring on here that's gonna make me watch this show.
Right.
Glued to the TV.
Give me a Phaedra. Give me a Kim.
Yeah, give me the original.
But no, wait, they did talk about Vivica Fox too.
Vivica Fox said I watched her on Super
They
Soul.
talked about her. No, I mean,
she said no. Vivica Fox said she would not do that. She said she's already established she's a Christian. She would not
Thank
go.
goodness. I just
Well, who do you think, if you were to bring somebody from Atlanta, not from the past cast, and somebody in, who would you?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh, down in Atlanta, to really shake up their cast, I would bring in Leandria Johnson.
Who that?
Oh,
The gospel singer.
Bitch.
See?
yeah, she's still. I see her in the hotel taking a shot.
The one that drinks. Yeah.
Allegedly.
No, that's true. I see her.
So I would definitely bring her because
Allegedly.
she is. It's just something about her, like her mix of worldness and religion. Like she's gonna, like Phaedra Parks, Autumn, she will eat them up and still stand there and take a shot and still say, but the Lord is dealing with me and working. He's not through with me yet.
It might be better for them to actually bring a wife.
That's a good choice.
And like somebody who's currently married, who currently has an effective relationship. Somebody like, I don't know, Sierra and Russell Wilson. Like,
They're in Washington.
I'm just using them as an example, like a married couple. It might be nice to see a romance.
I heard one of Akon's wives is gonna be on.
I heard a rumor of that, and I heard of a former Olympian.
One of them.
I heard a former Olympian is also supposed to be on.
Yes, the track run. I cannot think of her name right now.
But what I really want them to do, I want them to take Candy Girl from Potomac and move her ass to Atlanta. And see
So
how
she could get beat up by some old
Candy
woman.
is this one?
Candace.
Oh yeah, I don't
The one
like
who
her.
got beat up.
Ooh, they should move Monique.
That's what I was thinking, but she was friends with Portia, and it would have made more sense. But I feel like
Monique
Portia's
with
gonna come back.
that real money.
They
Monique
can't.
with that
They might need to move Fancy over there. She done shook up Beverly Hills for a season or two.
Oh no, she ain't going for Beverly Hills. She ain't going for Beverly Hills. They took the other night, and Andy said, "Oh, she ain't going to Housewives of Atlanta." Like, child. Anyways, child. Let's get to the good point, the good to the juicy stuff. Now we really came together out of hiatus for y'all. So what we really want to talk about is we really want to really just take a moment and dissect Dave Chappelle, The Closer. It's been in the media lately. It's done made it from your local newspaper to magazines to CNN to CNBC to MSNBC. This is crazy.
To break rooms, lunch
The animal channel.
Twitter. It's everywhere.
I felt that we would do a disservice to you all had we not come together and had this discussion. So bear with us. This is a touchy topic, for some people. Right. And with all due respect, we're going to do this in the most respectful way for all of you out there that are watching. And we're doing this with love. So I just first want to say, have you all seen the special?
It,
yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And for you, if for any of you, did his jokes cross the line for you at all?
Dave Chappelle has no line. And I feel like when you go into watching something with him, you know that you can potentially be offended, or there might be something that has you cringe, but you sign up for that when you enter that whole world of his brain. So for people to be making this much of a deal out of it, it's important that people have the ability to say something, but at the same time, it could have been worse, yes, but he needs to understand like his position and what he does and like who his target audience is and who is getting affected by the words that he's like planting the seeds that blossom into violence.
Okay. And so, what were your initial thoughts after coming on viewing it, Feesey?
Well, I was against watching it.
Yes.
Like, I was 100% against watching it. I just didn't. I think I had preconceived notions just hearing from everybody else, so I was already instantly turned off. When I watched it, I wasn't offended. I do understand how the trans community might have been slightly offended, but I reason back to I'm not a transgender, so I can't tell you how to feel.
What to be offended by?
As a black man, if a white man was cracking a joke about, picking cotton, yeah, I might be a little bit offended because that resonates with me a little bit more than a transgender,
So glory holes don't resonate with you?
I've never had a glory hole.
Oh, okay. But you know what they are, right?
I do, but I'm not. But again, because I don't frequent them, it's not like one of those things where like
disrespect. But why put us in that light? Like we're so disgusting and so nasty. Like everybody, they have straight glory holes too.
So before we jump to the glory holes, what was your initial thoughts on it?
He wasn't funny to me. I didn't laugh.
I agree with that.
Like this man that has bags under his eyes and black lips is talking about me. Not so much black lips from weed, of course. But it's not. Dave Chappelle's never been funny to me. Like I probably would have took more offense if like Martin was up there or Steve Harvey or somebody. But I don't know. As far as me being feeling disrespected, at times I did feel a little disrespected because, in a sense, you're talking about I'm gay and I'm black, but I feel like his jokes are more directed to like the white trans people, instead of the black trans people.
What are your initial thoughts, Justin?
I think my initial thoughts were I went into it already expecting to be angry and expecting to be offended, and so I didn't laugh watching it through the first time. And so then I decided to take myself out of it and rewatch it again, trying to block out all the things I heard, and I had a different perception.
You watched it twice?
I did watch it twice.
Oh my God.
I giggled the second time. Giggled.
I watched it twice.
Giggled and laugh is two different things.
I watched it 3 times.
Y'all are crazy. Y'all watched that bullshit 3 times.
I had to because the first time I watched it, I was watching stuff and I caught myself ready to giggle and stopping myself. And then I said, well, why are you doing that? And I was like, it's because I'm ready to be offended. Right. Instead of just listeing to it and letting it be organic. So I had to watch it again with like wine.
Let me just tell you, I'm not going to lie. Every time I watched it,
I will be a part of that.
It was that funny, bitch. Tell me more. Give me a joke that you fell the fuck out of. Because I can't find it.
I'll tell you one joke I fell the fuck out of.
You gotta let me say it. It was funny to me, but even though I know the things that he was saying were insensitive to certain marginalized groups, it still was funny to me. And the thing about it, what we tend to do, especially as black people, it's just like, we can sit up and say Michelle Obama looked like a monkey all day amongst ourselves, right? But then when the Asian comedian or the white comedian referenced her as a monkey, it was so much outrage.
Absolutely.
So the same thing I'm saying is, even though it's wrong for them to say it, we said it and people laughed about it or said things like that. So for him to say that stuff, I thought it was funny. Even though I thought he was being insensitive and he wasn't using his platform the way he should use his platform, it was funny to me. But and you want to know what was funny to me? When he meet Daphne's daughter, Daphne's child, and he said, "Young lady, I knew your father. Your father was a wonderful woman." I thought that was hilarious to me.
I found myself saying, "Oh my God," 50 times. I couldn't believe he was just saying some of the stuff he was saying. But also, as a black man, I was rooting for what he was saying because we never get the chance to express ourselves like that on TV.
I think what you said was important as far as community and intercommunal jokes and things. So the problem I had with it was, one, I don't think he was being sensitive for the time. So I want to use comedic timing. Comedic timing is more so the pauses, when do people laugh, da da da. But I want to make it grander and say you have to be up on your current events, what's going on in the world when you're making these jokes. You never saw a black comedian go on a stage in the middle of the civil rights movement and make jokes about getting dogs sicked on him or make jokes about lynching, because for the moment it was so insensitive and traumatizing. Right now, there are black trans women, white trans women, whatever, I am concerned with them, black trans women dying all the time. And so the moment we're in now, gay people are fighting, not just LGBTQA+, but the trans community specifically are fighting to be seen, fighting to live, fighting to have lives. So it was insensitive to exist. So it was insensitive for the time. And again, that's like a white comedian going on stage and saying jokes about lynching during the civil rights movement.
Or getting killed by a cop.
He's not gay. So what we can say in our community, I might call somebody a faggot and we think it's okay because they're in my community. Yeah. But if somebody else says it to him, I'm finna beat you up.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that right yet. You can't call us niggas because we call each other niggas.
Right. Well, like Dave Chappelle said, he's obsessed with gay people. And like he's obsessed with like what we have going on. So I feel like that obsession gives him like, it's like a fetishizer, someone who's like a voyeur into something else. You don't really get what's going on, but you just like that it's happening. And the way he has like a misinformed opinion about like the Stonewall gays, for example, like those jokes, which admittedly the Martin Luther King voice with the glory hole was funny. I laughed. I'm sorry. But the way he was just going on about it and kind of like whitewashed people and like overlooked the fact that Sylvia Rivera and Marsha P. Johnson, two black and Latina trans women who are the people who created Pride. Yeah, so it's like, why are we ignoring that big fact that you're just... And I think he just has a warped perception of what gay people go through and doesn't understand that like there are black gay people who experience both.
And it could be that he could be ignorant to it too, because like sometimes like I know like my brothers, until they started hanging out with my friends, they had this preconceived notion that all gay people like straight people. Like, oh wow, I'm not with that gay shit.
Right.
Nick, we don't want y'all. Like 90% of the time, we don't want y'all. It's cute to have y'all, but y'all are heavy. You're dirty. You're stingy. Like we don't want y'all.
Emotionally immature.
Please say that loud.
I just think that the ignorance sometimes behind it is what can be offensive.
And the ignorance comes from our community as a whole, as black. So a lot of the things that he brought up to me, and for what I took away from his special, it wasn't so much about the trans community and the gay community, but what I really took, the overarching thing that he spoke about was racism. And what he was talking about with racism is one of the things that we failed to look at and pay attention to. But every equality movement, every women's movement, every movement that you have seen for a group of marginalized people to be advanced out of oppression, being oppressed, it were all modeled after the civil rights movement. Black people are the foundation of it. And so it's hard for people to look at black people being the foundation of all of this and everybody taking their cues from the black community, but yet passing the black community in their fight for justice. But in that same thing, what the black community fails to do is look at where they are making mistakes. You can be the foundation of it, but if you don't know what happens, the difference is when he was saying, when he brought the point of if he was into it with a white trans person versus him being into it with a black trans person. And when the white trans person calls the cops and the cops show up, that person is no longer identified as trans. Exactly. That person is seen as a white person. Right. Now, if he's at it with a black trans person, the trans person 9 times out of 10 is not gonna call the cops because they're still seen as black. You can hide your sexuality. You can hide, even cover, for those that's passable, you being a trans. But one thing you can't cover is your black skin.
Right.
And so that's the point that I believe that he was trying to overarch and drive home to the public. He just didn't know how to articulate it and drop it correctly.
Now, I agree with you to an extent. So let's just use Paul Mooney. Mm-hmm. He had a series of homosexual jokes and he as well. But when he on his or whatever that video thing on Netflix, he said before he made the jokes, he sat down and told them the gay people, and they tweaked the jokes for him. Whereas though it wasn't offensive and it wasn't harsh. Okay. So he understood more like, okay, maybe I can't use the word faggot, but I can say sis. I can't say sissy, but I can say that's my sis. Like, you know, so I think that somebody at his age that's been in the game as long as he's been in the game, he should know better. Mm-hmm. You know better, you do better. Like, plenty of comedians crack jokes about gay people. But you don't get this backlash.
But when you say that he should know better, but you have to also look at who he is. This is the same person that he said got off the bus and left $50 million.
Exactly, I'm about to say that.
So how do you expect this person to come back and say, "Oh, I did the work"? But I will say, I do feel like he's at a point to where he's willing now to do the work, because at the end of his series, he said, "I will no longer say these jokes."
But that was after he went. He ran.
He already offended half of the world.
He did 30 minutes out of the whole hour show.
25 minutes. But
this is shit, y'all. This is shit like y'all
3 times.
Okay, this is shit.
So what I'm saying is, regardless of when he said it, right? The fact is that now he seems to be open to having a dialogue, and he didn't say that I'm going to stop saying these jokes. He just said, "I won't do these jokes until we have a conversation."
But are we
so
open
that means
to?
I mean,
are we open to teaching? Because you don't get to beat me up and then gay outside and then walk inside and be like, "Nah, I ain't gonna beat nobody else gay up until we can fight each other together." Like that is not how that works.
Bullshit. That was a safety net. That was, like you said, Lizzo's people. That was his people getting ahead of a problem. His people knew that this was about to be a clusterfuck. So they got ahead of the problem and they said, "Well, shit, it's already recorded. We can't re-record it. We can't take it back. So let's throw this part."
The problem though, like, what do you guys think about Netflix like threatening to even take it off, or like not even threatening, but like the way their CEO came out and said a statement, then he backtracked, but then also people trying to petition to get it taken off?
I wouldn't take it that far because R. Kelly's music is still being played on radio stations.
Yes.
So R. Kelly is no different.
But it got taken off of YouTube. Or it got R. Kelly's music. It got taken off of some streaming service.
It got taken off of the green one with the wiggle.
Spotify.
Okay, well I still listen to Apple Music. So
right, exactly. That's apples and oranges though. You're talking about criminality versus like
wrong is wrong.
Right.
Wrong is wrong. See, that's the problem. We can't say, "Oh, this is a harsher crime, so he gets a pass." No, wrong is wrong.
But what about Kramer? Kramer went and shot everybody niggas, and Steinfeld's fucking DVD collection went up. What else?
And he still comes on late night after the girls.
I don't think they should cancel.
So then here we go again. We go back to that overarching thing that he was trying to drive home: race.
It
still boils down back to race. And how we view things, it's like he's not looking at it. Even when he made the joke about should they dressed up in what do you call them, booty shorts and baby oil or something that's going to advance the black people more. No, but you gotta do the work, and black people have to do the work. And a part of doing the work is understanding and accepting the LGBTQIAPK community. Mm-hmm. Okay,
what is the K?
The thing of kink. So
why is we're just gonna
that cannot be a part of it.
Why is kink in there? Yeah, we are judged.
What is it? LGBTQ? Who did what? What is it?
Now watch, they gonna add an F for birthday.
LGBTQIAK.
So the thing is, what we need to look at, what the black community needs to understand is, if you cannot accept this community, it's one of the reasons why your fight is not going to go any further than it's going. Mm-hmm. Because every major fight that happened in civil rights was orchestrated and organized by a gay black man.
Please look it up. Because I've had this argument on
this
online
is what you need to understand. Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream.
King, guys.
I Have a Dream by Martin Luther King.
King.
that was organized by a black man. The person who was supposed to give that speech was a gay black man. But it was because he was a gay black man and people weren't going to be receptive of it because of his sexuality that they put Martin Luther up to do it. So in order for history not to repeat itself, you must know your history. Period. And knowing your history is understanding and accepting that we just do it the fuck better.
But when you go,
Clear, what was that about the K? Huh?
It's
K. The K stands for what? You Googled it.
You were right, girl. Come on. That bitch was right. We ain't never debated. We were just trying to figure out where the fucking came from and who put that there. But no, to go back to what you're saying about history, I seen this like tweet and it was like white people. They be like, "Oh, my daughter is a lesbian now." And black people be like, she called herself being gay. Like, she called herself having a little girlfriend. But that goes to history. Like, way back when, gay wasn't a thing. It wasn't okay. So, people his age, they're used to just tearing us down. Whole time is like, we're the hairstylists, we're the fashion designers, we're the people writing the books, we're the poets, we're these people behind all the great things that y'all praise, but y'all don't want to praise us. Y'all just want to praise the work.
Yeah, the sensitivity thing bothers me. I hate when they say that gay people are sensitive now. We're not sensitive. The problem is the culture that we were taught from our parents was that
shut up and take it.
But that's because they were fighting bigger battles. So the bigger overarching thing was civil rights. We're just trying to get certain rights that everybody else has. We got those now. So now it's time to go down the list and get into the little nooks and crannies and start doing those things. So because now we're calling things out, as gay people we're overall kind of recognized. We have prides, we have this, we have that. Now we're going through and going, okay, gay black people, okay, this. You can't say this, you can't. The itemized list. And because we're going through that and trying to clear that out, it's being called being sensitive. No, it's being called accountable for things we let slide before so we can have the greater good. It's not sensitivity. I hate that word.
It's kind of like
it's ownership.
It's like it's accountability. And it's like the uncle who molested your kids at the fair, and he's still coming around for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and nobody's talking about it. And you got a fucking pedophile
because what stays in this house.
Yeah,
stays in this house.
Where you go to a gay house, like no, this thing is. You get the fuck away for these kids.
Right.
Get the fuck away for these kids. Period.
Whole time is the nigga laid up with your aunt. That's such a nephew. Man, fuck y'all. Like y'all straight people can hear this shit. Fuck y'all.
You know, shit like that.
Yeah, like fuck y'all straight people can hear this shit.
So what do we think about going back to the special? Just think about his use of the white transgender woman, Daphne Dorman. I've heard there's been a lot of backlash about his usage for her, and it's been equated to maybe the white friend who says, but I love black people. My best friend is black.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what
so what do you guys think about that?
And I think I wonder if a conversation was had before this aired with her family.
I'm sure it was.
I don't know if one was had previously, but I do know that her family has since come out publicly in support of him and saying that Daphne really did love him and he is considered an ally to the community.
I think what it was.
Straight people can determine who's an ally and who's not, even if they were just nice to your daughter. In this one case, like it was giving very much. This is my trans friend. Like it was very much giving. This is the only one I know. But if you know this person so well, why would you still get up here and disrespect them that way? If you're an ally in that way, you wouldn't get up and do.
Because my thing is, if this lady Daphne identified as a woman, what was the joke? Why was the joke necessary to say your father was a great man, a great woman?
Now I understood.
But you better not laugh because I'm gonna throw this forward.
I understood he was saying that humor. She would have liked that, but you can't take one person because she liked to laugh at her situation. That doesn't mean everybody is like. And she was a comedian, which is a special breed of person who likes to laugh at trauma, and that's how they get through trauma. Everybody doesn't do that. To me, it was an omission of the fact that you know how hard you went on this community. So you ended it with this fluff piece in order to bring everybody back into that loving space of, oh no, he must really love us because he was with Daphne. You basically just told me that you know you were going above the line.
And where is Daphne really in? Prove to me that you know Daphne.
Wait, Daphne is dead. She committed suicide.
Yeah, but I need to know how you knew Daphne.
Oh, I seen pictures of her. She was pretty.
No, did you see pictures of him and her?
Oh no.
He wants to know the relationship.
That's up in the air. You ain't no fucking ally of mine.
But she clowned herself in one of his specials. He said when the guy stood up and said something about her, and she said, "Oh well, my walls are hardwood" or something like that.
Well, that
wasn't a special though. That was just like
how it fit in though. Sometimes you're trying to save the blow. It's like, so before you say some shit about me, I'm gonna give it to you. You know, I'm gonna give it to you.
But that's a comedian. That's why I say it's a rare breed when somebody can laugh at themselves and but also use their own trauma as a attack against somebody else.
You know what?
Like, I get me before you get me. So
let me just throw that out.
So everybody can't do that.
Right.
Most people can't do that.
Here it go. So what you were saying earlier about comedians, and they're always like they pick this group and they do comedy with this group. Comedians this punching up and punching down. He talked about punching up and punching down. So to me, what comedians have always been known to do is punch up. So that's why you heard black comedians always talk about the white people and stuff like that. They always punched up. We marginalized to them, so they punched up. I think in his eyes, again, going back to the racism, he wasn't, when he say things about gays, he don't feel like we're to the black gays, to him, as us being black, we're marginalized, especially our black and brown trans sisters. You know, that's a marginalized group amongst the alphabet. Okay, so when you make statements and things like that, you can't separate the white and the black. And for him, I think he still feels like he's punching up because he's talking about the white. But when you say it, that's one community, and you're punching down, and that's what happens. And I think that's the part that he's getting lost in as well, is how it is affecting black trans women. As a gay, openly black man, his comedy special did nothing to me. It did absolutely nothing to me.
It didn't do nothing to me. I ain't laid, I ain't flinched, I ain't cried, I ain't do nothing. No.
I can understand if I was a black trans woman, you know, how much it would have affected me, especially when I'm out here just trying to live. And it's so many things, like the responsibility of your platform is you are contributing to the transphobia that already exists in the black community. You are giving them the seal of approval to go out and continue to perpetuate this ignorance and this dumb shit.
And it's almost like Lizzo. Other big girls, they not with that shit though. But this is the depiction you are putting as what big girls are. So now we're all sloppy, we're all fat, we're all greedy, we're all loose. So like, Lizzo's no different. You know what I mean? She's a representation of a bigger woman in their lifestyle. Okay. So now I'm always going to be compared as a bigger black woman to this big. Lizzo. To the sloppy Joe.
Oh my gosh, she don't
always. I don't think she has sloppy Joe.
She was so hard.
But I do think what she was saying is right. He forgot that there's an intersection.
She always
intersection between being. He thought by talking about trans white and gay white.
He get the black right.
He was keeping us out of it, but you forget that intersection where the gay's still there, the trans still there. So there would have to be a very gentle way you have to. In a specific way, you would have to word things in order for us to feel as black, gay, black, trans, empowered. And he didn't do that. And that's why I think that would have helped for what he said when Paul Mooney gave it to the people that he wanted to protect and let them get in there and dissect it and say, okay, well, if you say this, it'll register with us. He didn't do that. So he missed the mark on making us feel important.
So do you think that he should get some gay people and trans people on his team?
I think that
absolutely.
I think so because like you also have to consider he's like a lot of people's first introduction to a lot of these topics. So if you're like if you're so like whenever the Chappelle show came out, I was a kid, I watched that. So like that was my introduction to a lot of things, and I'm just saying like as a kid like that put me onto like.
This is my first time I've ever seen a comedy show with him.
So it's like
tell somebody.
So if he had my point is if he had someone just to like be in his team and just knew what they were talking about, it would be easier for people to not be violent.
But that's what you should.
But do you also think that he said there's a safe space like I'll have this conversation later. How do you have a conversation with somebody who gave away $50 million and want to take it? That's like getting on stage and telling Beyonce how to dance or how to sing.
Exactly.
He's not going to care. He's not going to listen. He just said that to say it. He's ignorant because he's rich. He called himself the GOAT. The GOAT don't take advice from nobody else. He's not going to listen to nobody.
But like Kevin Hart said all the time, I ain't joking with gigs. He's like, Jean play. Exactly. We don't fucking play.
What's that boy name that don't? Hurricane Chris. Hurricane Chris don't even funny. Hurricane Chris don't even have what song was?
Oh my God.
Baby. I want to say that. Hurricane Chris.
It's not Hurricane Chris.
What's his name?
Oh, Juju and me.
No, I'm talking about Hurricane Chris. I forgot what he's saying. But Hurricane Chris, that lets you know. That lets you know where he's at in his music career. But even Hurricane Chris said, I will not talk about gay people in my songs. He was like, because I understand what that will do. He don't even have a career. And the man understood it.
Kanye West did the same thing.
And Kanye West?
Yeah.
Poor Kanye.
At the beginning of his
Let's
career,
leave Kanye out of it. I don't talk
so
about
what do y'all think
implications.
about Flame Monroe being the spokesperson that they decided to
I don't think
the person
about
that they
No.
but you do know that they had her as the
talking head
guest
a coon
for CNN with Don Lemon.
A coon.
So Don Lemon and Flame Monroe discussing this Dave Chappelle.
as she was cooning and tap dancing for the man. That's exactly what she's doing. And the man being the straight people in this instance. But she's a coon. They're using her because she's somebody
She can be boy.
She wants to be on so bad, and her opinion is so opposite of what everybody else is saying.
It goes in line with the heterosexual community.
And they use her as like, well, she thinks it, so why wouldn't y'all think it?
Right.
She's cooning.
I got 3 dogs in the
I had
I
somebody.
got 3 dogs in the back. And they're all old and saggy and need to be put I hate when somebody
but on the other end
I heard somebody saying a trans woman, she was like, she don't have any respect for her because you're speaking for a trans community and you're a drag queen. Those are 2 different lifestyles.
Yes.
Drag queens are getting beat up. They're getting, praised because of RuPaul.
Yeah.
Trans women, they're not, like you said, they're not on billboards and shit like that. Like, so girl, don't try to say, oh, you speaking on behalf of the trans community. You're not one of us.
and that's why I like what Maddie does. She'll just say her little blip and she's just like, I'm not going to talk about this.
Right.
This is happening.
Well, my girl Hope ate her up.
Wait, Flame Monroe.
I know y'all saw the clip.
She not a trans.
Hope Giselle cleared her out.
Clear who?
She got titties out.
Flame.
You ever seen her say like, she takes the plate off?
That's a plate?
Yes, that ain't real.
What interview
She still sleep with women.
She has like
She got a wife.
She got
She
kids
still sleep
too.
with women. Yeah.
And that woman is just
All the same.
It's problematic.
Right.
So it's amazing. So my thing is now. So when we look at it and break it down to that way, think about it. A mainstream media, CNN, with an openly gay black male anchor, to pull Flame Monroe on to be the representative of this community. See how problematic that is within itself?
But you gotta think about it.
So when we think about this, if you got somebody this big and that powerful to pull Flame Monroe out, then how much should we really be expecting Dave Chappelle to know?
Well, Don Lemon's a white man, so he's not even really repping our community.
And not
I had to ask first to figure out. But he's one of them ones that subscribe to the mainstream black people, are mainstream black gay people all being with white men. He subscribes to that.
Not only that,
They just not blaming him when Trump got in office.
Not only that,
Right.
he was one of the kind of people.
man.
He was one of the kind of people that use black people to step up to their top level and then look down on them.
And then got him a white man.
So like my thing is, why go to Flame Monroe? Why not get T.S. Maddie?
He wouldn't get Hope Giselle on there.
Why not,
baby?
He wouldn't
Why
get
not
my girl
get
Hope Giselle
Why not
on
get
there.
home? Why not get?
Claire's a
I don't know. Why not get Leone? Why? It's so many other people that's on. It's so many people on this on a mainstream level. Why go to her? Because she can be boy.
Yeah.
She can be boy. You never want to hear Laverne Cox talk about anything that this.
Or what's the other one?
Angelica Ross.
Angelica Ross, baby. She's another articulate.
But even her interview that she had with Lil Boosie.
Who?
Boosie.
Who and who?
You know Boosie.
No, I'm saying who interviewed Boosie?
Flame Monroe.
Did she?
No, he had an interview with Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
He was talking about the whole gay thing and he don't hate gays and all this stuff. And they pulled her in because she was doing something else somewhere in the studio. And they brought him as a representation for us to talk to him. And the whole time, again, tap dancing for the man. She was agreeing with him, and I can see how we do too much. Shut the fuck up. She did. If you watch the interview, she was in agreement with him.
What I respect about that interview was the
Charlamagne stood up more for
Charlamagne, Angelique, all of them was just like blown away, like, bitch, what the fuck?
They was even looking at her.
They gonna cancel us. This game's gonna kill us, girl. Shut up. They don't like us here. He was so him. Like him. Yep.
So thank y'all so much for your busy schedules and taking the time and to come and join Feesey and I. It's been a pleasure. Thank y'all at home. I hope you get something out of this discussion. Continue to let this begin a conversation amongst your friend groups and at home with your children and your family. And maybe we can push the needle forward and understand
questions.
that at the end of the day, we still black.
Don't forget it.
Peace.